The internet has a habit of inventing sensational theories because everything on the internet is absolutely true, right? Um, well, not exactly. For its part, social media has trained viewers to confuse attention with truth. So here's my question: if social media rewarded wisdom instead of watch time, how many videos would still exist? In other words, what's the gospel according to the algorithm? Now, according to the internet, the government is now spying on your washing machine. Your phone is spying on you for the government. Silverback gorillas are undefeated against lions. Every billionaire became wealthy by waking up at 4:30 a.m. every day. Every politician is secretly dating every other politician. And somewhere, there's always one more video that finally explains everything. It's typically episode number 54, but it's only $279. The greatest invention in humanity was not fire, it was not the wheel, and it wasn't electricity. It was convincing people to watch episode number 54. It seems that almost every video on the internet starts exactly the same way. Nobody's talking about this at all, y'all. I'm going to let you in on a big secret. But actually, almost everyone is talking about it. That's why it has 6 million views. There are certain truths that apparently exist in every social media universe. For example, if somebody starts screaming, "You think I'm afraid of you? I ain't afraid of you." Start backing up because somebody's about to discover gravity. The louder they explain how unafraid they are, the more concerned I become about their impending relationship with the pavement. And it seems everybody has become a constitutional scholar, especially when they're standing outside a government building with their phone 6 inches away from a cop's face. I know my rights. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, name the Third Amendment. Um, well, exactly. Suddenly, we're all very passionate about the Constitution, but mostly just the parts we saw in the latest TikTok. Now, let's talk about one of the great social media revelations. It's called the washing machine conspiracy. Have you heard about this? Apparently, America is still institutionally racist because the washing machine has settings. They state whites and colors. Folks, that's laundry. Your washing machine is not a member of the Klan. It's trying to keep your white shirt from becoming pink. Honestly, given the price of clothes today, the washing machine is doing God's work. It's going to fix the economy. The dryer is not enforcing segregation, it's trying to save your socks, which, by the way, is another conspiracy because I have never seen a dryer actually return the number of socks that I put into it. Somebody's taking those socks, I'm convinced, but I'm just not ready to name names. I'm continuing my investigation. Social media has also turned everyone into an expert in animal combat. Apparently, the internet has determined that silverback gorilla beats lion every single time, usually with a big body slam. Some internet experts say this with the confidence of a man who has personally refereed 50 gorilla lion fights. Bro, that gorilla would absolutely destroy that lion. Really, dude? Have you met either one? Because I'm feeling like the correct answer there is I don't know, but I'm going to stay far, far away from both. By the way, doesn't the gorilla live in the jungles somewhere while the lion hangs out on the savannah? I don't know. Basically, I guess they're arguing over two completely different Airbnbs, but I'm not volunteering to mediate that. Then we get to UFOs, or is it UAPs? Apparently, UFO was not mysterious enough. We had to give the aliens a government approved acronym: Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon. That's very official, scientific, but it's not very comforting because apparently we're not being visited by aliens anymore. We're experiencing anomalous phenomenon. That's what you call something when you don't know what it is, but you want your PowerPoint presentation to sound professional. But look, I'm open minded. Maybe aliens aren't visiting Earth. Maybe they are. But if these extraterrestrials have traveled 4.7 billion light years across the universe only to hover over New Mexico and then disappear, I got some questions. First of many is, why are these aliens so bad at parking? I would think if they've mastered interstellar travel, you'd think they could land their orb. And if they're secretly studying humanity, I got some bad news because they're probably watching TikTok. So the aliens are sitting in their spacecraft thinking, wow, these humans have discovered nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, space travel. Maybe it's time to make contact. But oh, wait. Is that a guy giving reviews of a gas station hot dog? Abort. The internet, it has three major industries: outrage, self improvement courses, and of course, false hope. Now, especially false hope. Influencers say things like, stay until the end and I'll reveal the secret. My billionaire mentor taught me this. My NASA scientist friend discovered this. My rancher developed an algorithm. Evidently, NASA is employing a lot of ranchers. Every influencer, they're incredibly wealthy, yet somehow desperately need to sell you a $29 MP4 file. And then there's the lottery. AI can now predict the winning numbers. This is amazing. It's fantastic. But why are you selling the secret software? I mean, keep winning the lottery. If your artificial intelligence can predict all six numbers, you don't need to sell subscriptions. You need to be standing on the beach. I mean, if I knew how to make 10 million and win the lottery every time, my first thought wouldn't be, how do I sell this guy a $29 PDF? My first thought would be, how fast can I delete all my contact information and escape the matrix? Now, government is where social media really gets creative. According to one side, the other side is destroying America, and according to the other side, the first side is destroying America. But according to the internet, they're secretly working together. They're colluding, which is fascinating because Congress can't seem to agree on what day it is, much less be capable of coordinating a centuries long master conspiracy. Have you watched Congress? Keeping a secret is highly optimistic. Every election is the most important election of our lifetime. Every single time. Evidently, we've been living through the most important election of our lifetime for about 40 years. At some point, we need to admit we're either living through an extraordinary long election season or the internet really likes drama. The world is ending again. Actually, check that. It's ending tomorrow. No, wait a second. Yeah, Tuesday. Definitely next Tuesday. Folks, we've predicted the end of civilization for about 2,000 years now. Evidently, though, eventually somebody's going to be right, not because they understand prophecy, but because of statistics. Now, here's the problem, though, with statistics and algorithms. Fear gets clicks. So if the video says everything's fine, here's how you can live wisely and peacefully, it gets about 10 views, maybe. But if the thumbnail heading is, we have 72 hours until civilization collapses, it gets 2.7 million views in a day and a half. Plainly stated, the algorithm doesn't care about peace on earth. It only cares if you're watching and clicking. Artificial intelligence is either eliminating all the jobs or creating new and improved ones. It's either going to make everyone rich or it's going to destroy humanity. In fact, AI will even pay you big money to help it take over the world. Evidently, AI has a better employment package than most American companies. But here's the really funny part: people who couldn't program a remote or a microwave are explaining artificial intelligence to us. They say, here's how AI thinks, but you don't even know how your router works. Suddenly, you're the human representative for Skynet? Now, here's one of my favorites. Young people are told these days you'll never own a home You'll never get to retire, you'll never find a good job, and everything is hopeless. But also, have 6 children immediately. Now, I'm not saying don't have children. I'm just saying maybe solve the housing crisis before adding kindergarten tuition to this mix. All joking aside, here's what I think is really happening. We're living in an age where attention has become more valuable than truth. And this is dangerous because the algorithm doesn't necessarily reward what's true. It rewards what makes you stop scrolling. Anger, fear, shock, outrage, sex, conspiracy, and occasionally a golden retriever wearing sunglasses. The algorithm, it doesn't know the difference. It just knows you stopped and you clicked. And that's the real conspiracy. Not, not that everyone is secretly working together. It's that we built an information system that profits when we stay emotionally activated. Whenever someone tells you everyone is lying except me, that's your cue to slow down because maybe they're telling the truth, but maybe they're not. But confidence is not evidence. Someone yelling into a microphone isn't automatically more credible than a person speaking calmly. 1 million views don't make something true. And a conspiracy board covered with red strings attaching one supposed clue to another does not make someone Sherlock Holmes. Now, here's where Holy Sorta gets, well, holy, sorta. The Bible repeatedly warns us about the danger of being deceived, not just by other people, but by ourselves. We're told to seek wisdom, to test what we hear, and to be slow to speak. But here's the part I think social media gets exactly backward. Wisdom takes time. Outrage and fear only take seconds. In fact, a conspiracy can be created in less than 30 seconds. Is that true? But wisdom requires us to stop, think, listen, and question. And sometimes admit, I don't know. That's not weakness, that's maturity. Psychologically, we have a problem. Humans are pattern seeking creatures. We see connections. We look for explanations. We want the world to make sense. So when something random happens, our brains don't like that. We'd rather believe somebody planned this than sometimes incredibly complicated things happen for pretty boring reasons. Social media, however, supercharges that instinct. They want to know that somebody planned it. Because every coincidence becomes a connection, every connection becomes a theory, and every theory becomes a video. And every video becomes episode number 54 on sale for the next 5 minutes for only $249. So here's the Holy Sorta challenge for this episode. Before you share something, before you rage, before you send that article to your rich uncle, ask yourself 3 simple questions. Is it true? Is it useful? Is it making me wiser? Or just angrier? You can be informed without being enraged. You can be skeptical without becoming cynical. You can question authority without believing every stupid, idiotic thing you watch on Facebook. And you can have faith without checking your brain at the door. So question everything, but the goal is not to become cynical. The goal is to become discerning. Social media rewards attention, but truth rewards patience. One gives you dopamine, the other gives you wisdom. If you can't tell the difference, though, don't worry. There's probably another video, the guy wearing sunglasses indoors or a lady in a limo. They know the answer, and they're going to explain everything right after their next 3 points in your credit card information. I'm Dr. Hayes, and this is Holy Sorta. Remember, question everything, grow intentionally, truth still rocks, and light still leads. But sometimes faith ain't pretty. By the way, if the aliens are watching, please return my socks. I'll see you next time. Take care. Be good.
A nation founded on faith. Now we're divided. We're not as holy as we used to be, but truth still rocks. Light still leads. This is Holy Sorta.